on behalf of Comic Con International, Comic Con's Inkpot Award for Excellence in Comics.
People do these panels and they organize things and they do slideshows and it's all a lot of fun and everything, and I'm very busy and I'm tired, and I just thought it would be fun to get out here with Charlie and chat about The Walking Dead a little bit, open it up for questions. I think there's a mic there if anybody wants to start lining up. I made sure that Charlie's mic was off because he has this weird British accent and nobody wants to hear that at all. Please don't, no, it's on purpose. Don't. But there you go, try it now.
Hello, everyone.
Talk too much, man. Come on. Jeez, man. But anyway, I am going to do everything I can in my power, and I'm going to ask that Charlie do the same, to not spoil the contents of Walking Dead 100, because I imagine that there are at least a few of you that haven't read it yet. Is that true? Anybody? Okay, I'm hearing a lot of
one person over there.
That's good. That's good. Well, as long as you bought it, I don't care if you ever read it. I will say that. And so I do ask, if you have a question that pertains to that issue, if you could please just, say that thing, or instead of actually like spoiling it. I did a panel a couple of years ago, and actually I think it was like 6 months ago, and I just don't remember. But Breaking Bad season 4 had just wrapped up, and the guy totally spoiled the end of season 4 like 6 hours after that episode had aired, which would have put it at like 2 or 3 in the morning, so that makes no sense at all. But anyway, and I was fearing for his safety. The entire panel room was pretty upset. So I lied and was like, he's just kidding, that's not what happened. But anyway, let's try and be respectful of people who can't get off their ass and read a comic book that came out 24 hours ago. Charlie, would you like to add anything at all, or should we just go into questions?
I think you did very well on your own.
Thank you.
Well done.
Before we get into the questions, because I do enjoy talking, I do want to say that everybody loves The Walking Dead, and I think everybody in this room, I think, loves The Walking Dead. There's some people. Trust me, I get some emails. Not everybody loves The Walking Dead, but and I've been to a couple message boards. It's very upsetting. But we did a really cool thing that I'm really proud of, where we ramped up the schedule and put the book out every 3 weeks in order to get issue 100 out in time for Comic-Con. And I did that all by myself, and I just wanted to say that in front of Charlie. But no, seriously, you would not get The Walking Dead in any kind of regularity at all if it wasn't for Mr. Adlard. He is constantly saving my ass. Not too many applause. And just doing such an amazing job on the book, and I feel so fortunate to have been able to work with him for the last, I don't know what the number is, like 400 issues or something. I really appreciate you. Just saying. All right, let's open it up to some questions. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
How you doing, Mr. Kirkman, Mr. Allen? I just want to say that you did write that you thought, or you felt that your comic wasn't the best in the industry today, and disagree with you on that.
Well, you're wrong.
I think so.
That's all.
But in the survival guide, it's kind of going back a little bit when it goes in alphabetical order. When it got to Davidson, there was just like a little shadow figure, and it kind of left a little, maybe, I don't know if it was a clue or if it was done on purpose, that maybe he was still alive and he might be out there and have some role left to play. Is that true?
No. No, much like Andrew, who disappeared after he left the prison and you never saw him again, I like to do things like that where you think it's going to be a normal kind of plot that you would expect to see in fiction, where they set something up and it's like, that's going to pay off, that guy's going to come back and it's going to be crazy. And that to me seems like, it seems like story. And I like the idea of things happening in The Walking Dead that are more like real life. Just a little bit, every now and then, not too much. Where, you know, there's this guy and there was a horrific thing where he was, you know, kicked out of the thing and I'm pretty sure he's dead, but he's out there, nobody knows, and that's it. You know, I like that. It's like that awesome, I think he was a Russian dude in that episode of Sopranos that like beats up like 10 guys in the woods and then just disappears. And I remember being frustrated, so I know how you feel. But I don't know, I think that stuff is kind of cool. So we will probably never see Davidson again. Charlie, don't tell them about how Davidson shows up in issue 103.
Also, do you like to kill, like, survivors that are really trying to be happy, like...
You're struggling, I do appreciate that.
I thought you were going to try to dance around the issue.
I do understand.
Characters that died recently, and in both of those comics, they were both like, well, I'm happier with this person. Damn, I'm dead.
That's enough.
I want to get away from you, Rick. Damn, I'm dead.
Well, listen, you know, I'm always working through some issues. You know? So yeah, no, that was not necessarily on purpose, but I do like to do things where you're like, oh, that guy's got story ahead of him. So they're safe, and it's like, why not? But yeah, I don't know. I just called Charlie up and I'm like, who should we kill? And then he picks, so it's all his fault.
Also, can I have a sketch cover of 100?
No, you may not. Good evening.
Good
evening.
I read all the graphic novels that you guys made. I'm going to say that they're all fantastic. I love them. I read them all in my Purple Wolf there. And I was wondering, are you guys going to continue the story still on for the next couple of days?
Nope, we're done.
But my question is, like, or is there a certain end that you guys have established?
Well, we have talked about an ending, but whether we do it in the next 2 years, 10 years,
just keep
20 years, you know, who knows?
I think I can speak for Charlie. I'm not going to do any more Mike turning off jokes because I've gone to that well way too much. But anyway, we love what we're doing. And this is genuinely what we set out to do with our lives. And to be able to tell these stories with these characters and know that, you know, I'll be able to tell stories with this guy and follow this story through. If it takes me 80 issues, I can get to the end of this and I can really, like, you know, dig in and really work with these characters and, you know, watch Carl grow up on the page if we don't kill him. It's something that I don't think we would ever, you know, I can't fathom ever not wanting to do the comic, you know? I can fathom a point where there's not 100,000 lunchboxes and 5 board games and a puzzle and, you know, an energy drink and all that other stuff. But I think that we'll still be doing the comic after that point. And, you know, we have, you know, like a vague ending in mind, but that's actually just in place if it gets to a point where we can't sustain the series anymore and you all seem to hate it, and then we're like, well, those 20 guys still reading it, we'll do something cool for them, and then we'll hang ourselves together or whatever after you the title that you've been working on for so long.
I didn't notice the suicide pact.
Yeah, I think Dave Sim and Garrard, is that how you say his name? They don't know. Yeah, they're both hanging from a door together right now. People just haven't found them. But anyway, that didn't go over well. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. We have it in place just in case we need to, but the plan is to go on for a good long time. Good. I should have just said that.
Hey guys, thanks for the comic, I love it. Now I realize this might push you on the road to finalizing the comic and we don't want to cut it early, but...
I just answered this question, man.
No. On the horizon, are we ever going to find out what caused the infection?
No.
Thanks for helping.
Well, no, listen. So, just to ramble on for fun, the thing about The Walking Dead to me is that aside from the dead people up and walking around and eating people, it's a fairly realistic portrayal of, you know, how the end of the world could possibly go and what it would be like to survive in that kind of a world. And I think anytime you sit down and go, well, how are those guys walking around? You know, and any explanation you come up with would be really science fiction-y or it would be magic or something, and it would take the story further away from realism, and so I prefer to ignore it. You don't need to know how stuff happens. It just has to be interesting.
Hello.
What's up?
First off, congratulations. Man, this is awesome. Apparently, like a couple of years ago, like no one knew cared who the hell you were.
I don't say that.
And I guess, you know, a couple of years ago, like I just saw Max Brooks. Somebody asked him point blank, "Hey, what's going on with World War Z?" And he said, "Not my business." But congratulations to you. I want to know, like, God, man, the comic book. I can't even say anything because my girl hasn't read it, and so I'm like stomping my foot, reading the fucking comic, so I can.
Hey, get a new girl.
My girl's dressed like a zombie. She's right over there. She's more undead than any of you.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Plenty of women
That's
here.
fine. I want to know is how, if I told Rick Grimes to go himself in season 3, how's he going to do that with his left hand? How are they going to do that? There's so many things that your comic does that just makes people, they turn the page and they go, oh, yeah. How are they going to do that on TV? Because I really don't think people are ready to see that in a mainstream media kind of sense. Like, I've been to places where the world has fallen apart, I've seen it firsthand, and when you see it firsthand, I saw it in the comic book and I said, holy, yeah, how are they going to do that? So, how do you think they're going to do that? Season 3, season 4, season 5, season 6? Enjoy your millions, sir.
Well, I mean,
But give me something. Jesus.
Well, I think the TV show's already demonstrated that it can go further than any other TV show already, so I think it's just a question of pushing the boundaries just a little bit further and see what we can get away with.
When he does give me the finger, will you make him look at the camera? So,
yes, see if I can do that. Just for you.
First off, like, you guys are amazing. I love this show so much, and it's actually one of the reasons that I watch TV at all.
We're only talking about the comic here. I might ask you to please sit
I
down.
know. Sorry, I had to go there. But like, talking about the characters, how well do you think the actors in the show actually portray the characters that you wrote?
They're just terrible. I can't. No, they're all amazing, and it's a boring answer, but it's true. I think, I mean, you would agree. Like, it's uncanny just how well they embody the characters from the comic.
Yeah, I mean, because they're, yeah, obviously The Walking Dead is a show, apart from the zombie apocalypse.
It is a show.
Based, yeah. Forgive me, I'm jet lagged. I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry. Andrew McKinnon is amazing.
Because obviously our comic is based arguably in reality. you don't necessarily have to get actors that look like, you know, the characters. You know, that would be an absurd sort of situation to be in. So, you know, you want the actors to basically embody the characters, not necessarily look like them. Yeah, we've been kind of fortuitous in some of the guys actually do look like our visions of the characters, but you know, and in total contrast, some of them don't look anything like. But it doesn't matter, you know. It's how well they act. The character is what matters.
And it always brings a tear to my eye when I see new scenes and stuff. So they're all doing a great job.
Yeah, amazing.
Thanks a lot.
Hello, I'm a huge fan. I have to admit, I'm an Invincible fan first, but I love The Walking Dead too.
There's another panel later where we can talk about Invincible, but for now.
But I think we can all agree with The Walking Dead, the most messed up stuff in the entire world always seems to happen to these characters. And Robert obviously writes them, but Charlie, I was wondering if you ever get a script from him and you're like, what? He wants me to draw what? That's too much.
Well, the only time I've ever phoned Robert up directly after reading a script was the torture issue. And I actually said, you've really got to convince me to draw this. And he did, obviously. He just waved a big fat check under my nose. But it was interesting because in, shall we say, issue 100, I won't say anything else, but Robert was going to send me lots of reference, but apparently it was so sick and messed up that even you couldn't bring yourself to send me the reference.
Yeah, I was like, I want this to be a realistic portrayal of, you know, gory violence, and a lot of times you don't even realize, you know, that the human body doesn't really do what it usually does in movies and stuff when you see it like torn apart and stuff. And so I was like, I'm gonna just get on the internet and look at those horrific websites where you see, you know, those things. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Then I even talked to my wife. I was like, look, if I'm acting weirdly today, it's because I'm just going to be surfing the net. If you get on my computer, I just want you to know that I'm just trying to do some research for this scene, and I kept trying to like build myself up to it, and then I was just like, no, let's just fake it.
It's a kind of bizarre job, really, doing what we do in a lot of ways, because if we were ever investigated by some whether it's the FBI in your country or in my country, whatever, you know, and
the BBC.
You know, and they would find, you know, sort of references for lots of guns, lots of military hardware, various websites about, you know, various traumas to the body, things like that. It's a pretty bizarre sort of computer history.
Well, I'm not spoiling anything, but you know, Eugene has been talking about how he's trying to attempt to make bullets because he realizes that they're running out of ammunition. That's something that's been going on in the, you know, most recent issues. And I have been doing an insane amount of research on how to build homemade, like how to manufacture bullets. And every time I'm doing it, I'm just like, I know this is not going to end well. So if you're listening, FBI, it's all for comics.
Hi, my question for Robert. I was wondering, towards the end of issue 100, the thing with the guy,
Yeah, we got it.
the weapon,
Yep.
when he's picking
Yep.
people,
Yeah.
with the stuff that he says.
You're doing so good.
I know, I'm trying my best.
Yeah?
The stuff that he says when he's trying to pick the person, did you do that to pick the person that the thing happened to? Did you already choose?
No, I had already chosen. Yeah, that was set up for a long time. That was always meant to be the introduction of that villain, and it was also supposed to be, you know, that the death of that individual. And funny story. I was actually sitting in the writers' room in like February, and we were talking about the show, and we were talking about some of the characters, and we were talking like things that go on in the comic and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, and it's leading to this, and then this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and he's dead. And all the writers in the writers' room were like, what just happened? Why did you do that? And it was because I don't even remember why. We were just just talking about that character and I was telling them things and I just kept going with what the story was. And then I thought to myself, like, I shouldn't spoil it for these people. And then I was like, these are the writers on the Walking Dead show. They don't care. This is ridiculous. Like, we work on these characters, like, all the time together, and, like, I'm just going to tell them, but they were definitely pissed, so. What I'm trying to say is, no, I did not randomly decide on the page what was going to happen, but I have done that before. You know what, listen, these panels are a lot of fun, and sometimes I admit to these things because I think it's interesting and it's funny to get this information, and I like sharing information with you guys, but every now and then I get flack on the internet when I admit to changing my mind or doing something, and it's like, that guy's just coasting, what's he doing? But I think it's very interesting. I was writing 97, which I'm not going to spoil, but I wrote the end of 97, and then something very cataclysmic and shocking happens at the beginning of 98. I did not have that planned when I wrote 97 and he drew 97. When I sat down to write 98, I was like, this is bullshit. This would not happen. This person would not survive. This book is lame. I'm just going to do this. And so that's why that happens on page 2 of that issue. If I